All right, everybody, welcome to Back to Hookin' and Cookin'. We are gonna start on the Venetian wrap, okay? So you should have this printed. I would prefer it printed because it's easier than looking back and forth on your phone. So I have my yarn here and my hook is ready. So a couple of things to note before we start, okay? Hopefully you have your hook and your yarn. See this stitch explanation down here? This is really important. So anywhere you see shell work, this is what you're gonna do. And we'll go through it as we do it. But a lot of times, patterns will have an explanation here as to what they'll call the stitch, and they'll only say shell work, for example, here, as opposed to writing out all the steps. So the first step here, this is our directions, this is our pattern, is to chain 64. So let's chain 64 and then we'll come back, we'll do the first row, okay? Let's go ahead and chain 64 together in case you need a little bit of a refresher on chaining. So we're gonna do our slip knot. I know I do this the hard way. It's just what I'm used to already. So most people can do a slip knot in about 10 seconds. And then I do wanna show you, this is what happened when I just did the center pull on this yarn. So it happens to everybody. We will work through that as we need to. So I have my 5mm hook, I have my yarn, and we are gonna chain 64. So get your yarn hand, all right? 64, 1, 2. I'm not gonna count all the way through the video, but chain your 64 and then come back to me. Okay, we have chained 64. So this is gonna be how wide your wrap is, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work in rows up here. There are 126 rows in this pattern, you can see here. So this is how wide it's gonna be, and then the length will be determined by the number of rows. Okay, couple of things here. Your chain stitches do not need to be crazy tight, okay? The tighter they are, the harder it is to work into. And so what I want you to do, if they are too tight and you're struggling with making looser chains or looser stitches, use a bigger hook, okay? It'll kind of force you to make less tight stitches. And the more you get used to this, the more you'll kind of relax and settle on a pretty consistent tension, okay? So we're gonna, this is our 64. Now the next row, row 1, okay, is single crochet in the second chain from the hook. And in each chain across, you'll have 63 single crochets in this row. Okay, so single crochet in second chain from hook. This is really important. So this doesn't count. This first stitch doesn't count. So we're not gonna count the one around our hook. We don't count this one. So the second one would be this. You can go into this loop right here if you want, this top loop from that stitch, from that V. Or you can go into the back bumps of the second stitch. I prefer the back bumps. I do have a video on going into the back bumps. You don't have to, it does take a little longer, but your finished product looks cleaner. So let's just do a couple of those. I am gonna go, I'll show you what it is to go into just the regular front loop. So remember, we're gonna skip this first one because we don't count this loop on the hook. So we've got one stitch here, we're gonna go to the second one, okay? So if you were just gonna do a single crochet into that top loop, you just put your hook in and then do a single crochet and do that all the way across. Okay, so we have that one, then you go to this next one, put your hook in just the top loop of that next stitch, next chain, do a single crochet, okay? And you do that all the way across, making sure that you get into that last stitch and you have 63 stitches across. Okay, so we talked about counting stitches already. So I am gonna actually show you how to do go into the back bumps. I'll link the video here, so I'm gonna go through it quickly here. But if you see these, this is a back bump, this is a back bump, they're kind of hard to see right here. But like, this is a bump right here, you can see. This is a bump, this is a bump. So what you're doing basically is going into the back side of your stitch. So I would go here, and these pointed hooks work really well for this actually. So back bump, that's one, back bump. If you're struggling to find the stitches, just put a comment, let me know, and we'll figure it out together. Back bump, back bump. So I'm gonna do this all the way across. This takes a little bit. This first row of single crochets in anything that you do is not the fastest, okay? There are videos about this, really funny ones. And so Just be patient with yourself, but eventually you want to go all the way across with single crochets. All right, and I will meet you at the end 63 single crochets.